best property rights regime for socio-ecological resilience is really hard to determine because from what we know, you can have, let's just say that we're talking about managing common pool resources, which is another restatement of the problem of resilience. Because so many of the ecosystem features or services that we're talking about for resilience are common pool resources. We've known for a long time that you can have private property, you can have government-controlled property, you can have common property, which is controlled by groups of resource users, and usually combinations of all of those, and that there's no one particular type of property that works better than another. They work in different ways, they have different outcomes, and you can imagine that there would be a private property regime that provides a good deal of flexibility and adaptability as much as a government-run regime. And the government-run has its problems. It may be too distant from the realities of on-the-ground life and therefore miss some of what's going on that a private property regime might better capture. On the other hand, private property has its problems too, in that it's often too much dominated by short-term market interests. And so how do we get the longer-term interests? And then we think about common property, and common property systems have their problems, and that you have lots of people with claims or claims of ownership or use rights. And so coordinating them is a real challenge. But at the other side of it, you may have the longer term built into a common property system, depending on how that's organized. So as you see, there's no one magic bullet. There's no one clear way to a more resilient system that's based upon property rights. There may be other factors involved in resilience. We have to look at knowledge. We have to look at understanding. We have to look at the ability of people to work together, and the ability of people to see what others are doing, all of those factors, the generation of trust among people, a commitment to the rules that people decide upon, all those factors. And in some ways, those are quite independent of property rights.